both Tanuj and Venkat will be presenting the session on making digital disruption the core of your innovation strategy.
So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be here. It's a pleasure being in this wonderful city in such a wonderful location. As I start, I just want to probably start with a question, right? And the question is that, especially for people who've got kids, and I have got such kids who are in the age group of 8 to 12. If you have got kids in the age group of 8 to 12, and if there was one question that you need to ask them about a skill that will be relevant 10 to 15 years from now when they get out of college and get to employment, what is that skill likely to be? Sure. So I got a response saying collaboration. Yeah, Mandar. Sorry? That skill is not existing today. Good one. Yeah. But you know, when this study was done with a lot of people across the globe, one of the most important thing that came out was a skill about artificial intelligence, right? To know about artificial intelligence, because few years from now, it's going to become so much a part of what we do in our day-to-day life. And I'm going to talk about it a little later, but before that, I'm going to request you to allow me to play 3 marketing slides, just 3 of them. After that, everything is about customer success, customer stories, just 3 marketing slides. And the reason they are important is because it sort of helps intervene the context to the whole discussion as we move forward. Yeah. So this is about companies in the year 1997 with respect to market capitalization. If you look at the top 5 companies, you'll find one technology company over there, which is Microsoft. Move 10 years, year 2007, obviously there seems to be something happening. All the oil companies are coming up. Something happened, but Microsoft is still there. Let's move 10 more years, and you find 2 interesting things. One, Microsoft is still there amongst the top 5. But the more important thing is those 5 companies now are technology companies. Never before have 5 technology companies been in the top 5 of market capitalization. So this is telling us a story. This is telling us about a pattern. And all of us, as being people who are involved with technology, should feel very, very happy about it. And I'm going to just move to the next slide that sort of amplifies why it is that. This is a study done by a company called as Ocean Tomo. It's a banking research firm that focuses on intellectual property. Now, they did this study across the top 500 S&P companies, and then they looked at the turnover, and within that turnover, what is the percentage of intangible assets as a percentage of the overall turnover. If you see in the good old days, plant and machinery was a tangible asset and it appeared in the balance sheet. If you look at today, 87% of the entire thing in the balance sheet is coming up from non-tangible assets. One of the biggest contributor to that non-tangible asset is technology, right? And then I allude to our CEO statement that every company is a software company today. And I think the world deserves a great accreditation for it, and I think the compliment for that should go to all the CIOs around the room, because all of you have played a very, very key role in making your respective companies a technology company. You've got the basic backbone done. You've got the basic IT infrastructure set up. Now comes the next opportunity in terms of the huge amount of data that you've got, and what do you do with that data? Can that data be your differentiator? Can that data be now called as a new currency, the new growth vehicle, which is where the large opportunity lies for every company. And when you relate it back to the market capitalization, the answer lies somewhere in between. I now go back to artificial intelligence from where I started. For over 30 years, we have learned how to use computers, right from C colon to Windows and many more things. We have learned how to use computers. In today's context, it's about computers learning to get us. It's its ability to learn us. It's its ability to figure out what humans are trying to do. So we are talking about an era where a computer or a machine today has a capability to know your intent. It has a capability to know your interest, to know your context, and what actions you're likely to take in that context. That is the power that exists today. Now, the reason why that has happened is because of two broad phenomena that has been happening in our industry. Number one is algorithms. If you look at algorithms, they have evolved, and they have evolved rapidly, right? And that is making it possible for the machine to understand the human. But the thing that has changed the whole paradox is cloud. Cloud, with its massive scale, massive memory, massive storage, makes it possible to run these complex algorithms, right? So these two are coming together, and that is what is really creating this great phenomena called as artificial intelligence, the ability to understand, take that data, and to really derive meaningful insights so that you are now able to get to a situation where you can predict what is very popularly called as the next best action, right? So it's helping you take the next best action. That is where we see the whole thing happening. At Microsoft, especially Microsoft Research, we've been doing a lot of work, really looking at this explosion of data on one end, the cloud, that's as an infrastructure that we have set up across the globe, and then looking at the power of artificial intelligence, and trying to see, when you mesh the three together, can we look at better collaboration, better way in which humans can do their job, get it done quickly. And in one of the research projects that Microsoft Research was recently involved, we actually leveraged IoT and artificial intelligence to create a new skill, a completely new skill that actually helped people who are challenged with Parkinson's. I'd like to show you a small glimpse of that through this video.
Okay, right, I'm going to try and replicate this here. We're off to a great start. I tend to kind of just avoid doing sketching and writing now because it's not really worth it if you get something like that. Anything you could do that would just make my hand do what I want it to do and be able to sign my name would be an incredible thing.
How do we even just begin to help her overcome this particular symptom of her tremors and helping her be able to regain her writing ability, her drawing ability?
So what I'm doing is I'm making a very rough prototype, and what this board does is I can connect into it through these wires, these tiny coin cell motors. So these motors will vibrate. I personally think that what this is doing is it's short-circuiting whatever feedback loop there is between the brain and the hand that's causing the tremors. So the idea is, if you are distracted by the vibration, are you able to write better? I don't know. I don't know.
It's affecting something. I don't quite know what's happening.
I'm onto something, right? I'm onto something.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
It makes me forget that I have a tremor. I've drawn one of them for a long time. I've actually just written my name for like the first time in ages.
I can't believe it.
Mum, it's called the Emma.
Oh, brilliant.
It's got my name on it. Right.
Thank you. So this was just a small research. which basically takes the power of artificial intelligence to really do something which is going to help humans do things they couldn't do before. That's a power that is there in this technology, and that goes back to my original question that I started off, that 10 to 15 years from now, this is this one thing that's going to be relevant and could be a basic differentiator in the way in which you look at your own business and look at how it's going to apply to your business. I'm going to switch gears and now move into more of a commercial world, right? And I just want us to, for a few minutes, think through this. That imagine you're in a company and you could have an ability to anticipate issues, right? In a large manufacturing company, or any company for that matter, unplanned downtimes is a huge loss, both in terms of reputation as well as in terms of money, right? Imagine you have that capability to really anticipate such service issues and plan maintenance with insight, not with data, with insight. Imagine the ability that you take that and you're able to respond back. And while you're responding back, you have the ability to go and inform the right set of stakeholders. Your technician who's remote, your customer in terms of an information. Imagine an ability for this service technician to land up at the customer place, knowing fully well that he is going to be having all the power that is required to solve that problem, however complex it could be. And he is not even planned to go there. But imagine the power that you could give it to him. And imagine at the end of the day the delight that you can bring to a customer. Microsoft and Tetra Pak began on this digital journey a few years back. And I just wanted to actually share a video that sort of brings to life some of these things in real life action. Allow me to play that video.
Digitalization is transforming our industry and changing how we work to create new opportunities by leveraging global data from thousands of lines, connecting our field force with equipment, and bringing our expertise closer to you. Sensors on connected Tetra Pak filling lines continuously send information to the Tetra Pak Performance Management Center. Staff analyze the data and proactively make recommendations to improve productivity and eliminate unscheduled downtime. And thanks to digitalization, the predictive horizon is longer, making it easier to plan maintenance to fit production schedules. Our service engineers are equipped with digital tools to support them in their daily work to deliver better service. Apps provide easy access to information needed to perform maintenance effectively, including service manuals and checklists, problem-solving methodology, and the global issue database. With remote support, all service engineers are experts wherever they are, whenever it's required, which minimizes extra service calls. Digital tools are not only for service engineers. With virtual training, operators use computer simulation to learn at their own pace, fitting your competence needs and production schedules. Service engineers use mobility apps to track the maintenance completed and to get sign-off before leaving the site. These are just some of the ways we are using cutting-edge digitalization technology to bring you new opportunities through Tetra Pak services while always protecting what's good.
What you just saw was digital transformation in real action. And when you look at the way in which there was a seamless integration between a business process application that was running and IoT sensor data that gave enough information about something likely to fail, and when it ran on the cloud, it converted that into an insight, and that insight got picked up again by the CRM system in the customer side, and it went and opened a ticket and informed the service engineer to go to the customer side, at the same time sent an information to the customer about the arrival of the service engineer. The engineer goes to the site and he is able to look at the problem at the same time using his HoloLens and the productivity application that the company runs, log into a remote expert who's sitting somewhere in a cafe, and he is able to diagnose the problem, attend to the problem like an expert, finishing off his call and completing the whole thing. What we just saw is a clear example of these 4 pillars around which most of the customers are today designing the digital transformation. It's about what is it that you do for your customer? What is that differentiated experience, that unique experience, that immersive experience that you can do to delight your customer? Because if you delight your customer, common sense says that you are in good hands, you're going to get more business from the customer. Clearly, it is going to also result in a completely new model in terms of servicing a customer, creating a completely new model, a growth vehicle for the company. Most of the digital projects start off with a look at either optimizing your resources or bringing down cost. And yes, it's a great way to start. But at some point in time, you'll figure out that while the cost savings are happening, the bigger upside for us is the ability to create a completely new business, a completely new service that didn't exist before, which are to the delight of your customers. And that is exactly where this data and what you do with the data helps you. One last thing is about empowering your employees, because we have to understand that we live in a world where our customers know more about our products and services than our own employees, right? And that's always going to be the case. So what is it that you could do with the new bunch of employees that are coming in, the new age employees who are used to a very different type of tools being born in the cloud and the social environment? What is it that you could do to empower them and to make them the expert, make them the best in the job that they do? So all these things coming together is when digital transformation starts to bring alive the entire power of technology and starts to contribute to business. With this, I just want to also share with you, I took examples of what we are doing with Tetra Pak globally. I just want to leave behind with the journey that we are on with some of our customers in India. These are all the customers with whom we have begun our cloud journey purely from a digital perspective. It's not just about moving workloads, it's about what we do in terms of creating this new thing around either the employee engagement or in terms of delighting the customer or optimizing their operations or contributing towards creating a completely new business or a service. We are at different parts of the journey with different set of customers. Would love to engage with each one of you. Many people from Microsoft are around. We'd love to meet up with you and know more. With this, I'm going to hand you over to Tanuj. Tanuj is our general manager from Microsoft Engineering. This is one big asset we have got in India, where a lot of the core development actually happens out of the country. Tanuj is a general manager from that, and he's going to take us through a set of demos, which are real-life demos, which amplify some of these things from a digital transformation perspective. Over to you, Tanuj.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm told I'm out of time, and so I'm going to steal 5 minutes, and hopefully I'm going to put those 5 minutes to really good use to do something different. You guys have heard a lot of presentations. I'm going to show you a real-life demo. Hopefully, this will be the highlight of your afternoon. Hopefully. To set some context, I challenged my team about 6 months back to say, we're talking all about AI, Cortana, CRM, modernization of experiences, and so on. What can we do internally within Microsoft to transform the game? What can we do fundamentally different? So what we did was, we took our bot technology, we took Cortana, we took a lot of AI and machine learning, and we said, we are going to transform the life of sellers across Microsoft. We have 25,000 plus sellers in Microsoft, and we wanted to go and have an impact, and a significant impact at that. What I'm delighted to share is we showed this demo 2.5 weeks ago at Microsoft Ready, which is an internal conference. And we literally got a standing ovation in terms of what's happening. And this is not demoware, this is not just slideware. I'm showing you slides in the interest of time. This is actually real working technology. And so what we've done is combined a lot of internal assets to get to a stage where if you're on a handset, I happen to be on an iPhone here right now, I have a bot running on that, and that bot's called Quora. And what Quora does is it basically prompts you with information real time if you are a seller out in the field. Here it's saying, here's a company, fictitious company called Contoso, and there's a leadership update on that. You click on that and it tells you Jane Brown's actually just joined Contoso. She was the head of HR in a different company. She's just moved here. It's also telling you that she's a great influencer of Azure. She's already got, you've got an 85% propensity of closing an Azure deal with her. It also tells you what other business is at stake. So, as a seller, rather than sort of fishing for this information, we have aggregated this information out of the systems using machine learning and AI, and I'm telling you that that's what's happening. Now, it basically says, would you like to add her as a connection? Thanks to the fact that we have LinkedIn as an asset and tight integration, it says, would you like to? And if you wanted to, it will actually, this is a text that it has drafted on its own. Set up the context. This is where sort of AI is at work and is telling you, hey, would you like to send this, or you would like to edit this, and so on. You can edit it, or you can actually send the invite. The invite goes through, Jane connects. As soon as Jane connects, a few things start happening. It's now asking, hey, should I know something more about this person? It tells you, hey, there's a guy called Stuart who works for Jane. And Stuart actually has downloaded a white paper on this activity. It says, would you like to know more about what Stuart's been up to? Now, we've actually gone and looked at Stuart's browser and other preferences, thanks to assets like Bing and others, and been able to tell you, this is the kind of stuff that Stuart's been up to on her team. Beyond that, I'm now able to say, can you provide me more insights, Quora? And Quora now suddenly comes up and says, absolutely, I can actually give you some more insights. How about the fact that here are some interesting reading material for Jane based on what we've seen around her interests. You might want to engage in a conversation with her using these. We said, great, but it also says, you know what? I also know, here's this guy, Joe, in your sales organization, who's actually closed a similar deal on Azure in HR. Would you like to loop him in so that you guys can have a conversation together? So now I'm using the power of the network to actually bring together other people in the organization to try and make an impact. Sure enough, I emailed Joe. Joe responds back suddenly and says, hey, what's interesting is, again, this note automatically got drafted. It says you can edit this draft, but this is again AI and machine learning at work. It understands the context of the conversation and is able to draft all of these notes, saving you precious amount of time if you have to do this on a regular basis. You do that, you send the mail out, and it actually sends you basically, there's a notification, Joe accepts and says, absolutely. It's smart enough to now look at integration with your calendar and says, I can find that you guys are free between 3 and 5. Here's another area where I can actually schedule this meeting at 3:30. Does that work for you? And if it says yes, goes ahead and updates the meeting. Not just that, it is literally working, Quora is working as a personal assistant. It's also telling you as a reminder that, hey, there's this other meeting that you're supposed to be in and you haven't. So it's giving me context that you're going to be near a company called Fabricator tomorrow. Would you like to learn a little bit more about that company? It shows you on the map and says, if you say yes, it'll actually provide you a lot of context around it. It says, do you want some reading material around it? And if I say no, I would not like it at this point in time, and say, fine, I'll save that and I'll send it to you later. Again, rich contextual analysis. It's also going to tell you at the same time, hey, you were in a meeting yesterday with Acme Corporation. You have not updated the notes from that meeting yet, but I have the recording and I have some context. Would you like me to go and update the notes on your behalf? And sure enough, if you say yes, it will actually update the CRM system with those notes. And you can obviously go and update that later. What I've showed you feels like science fiction, but it isn't, right? It is basic bot technology working with all of the data that's already locked in your systems, getting that out of AI, looking at all of the contacts and the networks that you have, not just within work through LinkedIn and other tools, but also sort of social media platforms, and trying to sort of create some context. The future of AI and the future of how we do business will be more and more like this. It will be all packaged together, not siloed applications, but a lot of context being pulled together, thanks in part to AI. And Microsoft can certainly help you with that journey. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about this, there's lots of us out there. You can come take a look. Thank you so much.